So why Rick's a human, huh? The name came naturally to me at a time when I was getting a lot into philosophy. This channel used to be called Rick's a Dog, and I had like a channel mascot with my dog's face on top of a suited up man PNG. And I used to do gardening videos in 2019, of all things. Yeah, I used to do gardening videos, and those got like 17 views back in 2019. I changed it because I was intending on changing the direction of the channel towards a history channel. By the time I posted the Boccherini video, Boccherini, I guess, I was intending on making history videos about fascinating figures throughout history. Lavoisier would be next, but for whatever reason, it didn't really happen. But Rick's a Human is stuck, because the nature of what makes us human is a subject of endless frustration and endless fascination to me. To be human is to be capable, and I guess that's what I really want to talk about in this video. I think being human means being capable of self-consciousness, of thinking of oneself as oneself. A human is a creature capable of complex thought, capable of tremendous amount of compassion and empathy, as well as an uncomfortable amount of callousness. There's a dichotomy in what it means. Apparently, I cannot talk. There is a dichotomy in what it means to be human. As much as we attach the adjective human to something warm, thoughtful, and caring, you can attach the word human to the biggest atrocities you can think of as well. To be human is to be capable of great compassion and of great harm at the same time. I inclined to believe that in order to define humanity, you can't leave the inherent atrocities of human existence on the side in favor of the fact we can love one another. I can't help but look at wars, ethnic cleansing, and whatnot and think to myself, the design is very human, with the same certainty that a video of someone feeding the homeless or rescuing kittens would warm my heart. I have a lot of certainties when it comes to what it means to be human, which in itself is a very human thing to do, to believe in your own convictions. This amount of certainty probably means I am wrong about a lot of these things, which is why I gotta admit, a lot of what I think is the nature, is the human condition and all, is just the human existence and life in society in general. And I'm not sure exactly how to not to conflate the two things. I just think that the human existence is inherently unfair and cruel. The fact we value self-preservation above all, and the historical evidence really suggests a lot of the evils of modern life are just inherent parts of being a human being. I mean, racism and bigotry stem from the need to preserve our tribe, our village, our little neck of the woods from outside forces. The conditions for life were so difficult throughout history, it's no surprise people built a habit of rejecting what and who's different. As such, I see hatred as something just as human as love, which is not to say that I'm okay with hatred and that we should tolerate it. When it comes to free will, I'm not sure I understand it really. I think there's will inherently, but it's always going to be influenced by something. I could parade my free will around my freedom of choice as much as I want, but the reality is that I am a product of my time, my culture, and my upbringing. One cannot even decide to have a beer, for example, without having that decision be influenced by a non-linear amount of people, events, circumstances, and marketing campaigns. If you haven't grown up seeing beer be depicted as the default alcoholic beverage in media, if you haven't seen your dad and his buddies drink it every time they gathered up to watch a game, if drinking beer with friends wasn't, a well-established cultural habit, if you haven't seen endless advertisements, and if the name of these brands were not household names for you, how great would be the chances that beer would be your go-to order at a bar? Yes, there's a great deal of exercise in free will to decide to go out and have a beer. The same way being pissed off drunk at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in a Tuesday is a prime example of free will. But how free is your will really if every decision can be walked back through external influences? You can even decide to eat something without having it be influenced by the synapses in your brain telling your stomach is empty. I personally see no value whatsoever in the idea of having free will. I couldn't care less. I see value in the idea of having will itself, in doing things, in striving towards something that you want, that you need. That is what I see value in. Lastly, I cannot talk about being human without mentioning judgment. To be conscious, after all, as I see it, is to judge. You walk outside, feel the wind in your skin, and your brain judges that information to come to the conclusion it is cold outside. Better yet, you just open up the window and look out. Or you just look up at the weather app in your phone and judge the numbers you see in the screen and come to the same conclusion. Judgment is inherently human and inherently superficial as well. We're very visual creatures. Our sight is our most reliable, most consistent, and perhaps our most accurate sense. So we over-rely on it, really. If you take a rotten apple and place it in a room with a dog, for example, they're going to approach it. They're going to come to conclusions about that rotten apple by smelling it. Most animals rely on their sense of smell to judge the world around them. They're going to smell it and walk away in disgust. Hell, some dogs would actually eat it. We wouldn't even approach it. We would give it a quick glimpse from across the room and judge that apple not suitable for human consumption. The same way we can and do judge any other thing, person, or situation by just looking at it. To be human is to be just as visually shallow as deeply introspective. So maybe the things that frustrate me the most about the human condition is how inclined we are to look at things and come to a snap conclusion. How inclined we are to give weight to things that don't really matter. Things that we've done nothing to or we didn't engage with in any other way other than simply looking at it from afar. It's either that or the fact that I can't help but look at everything around me and see it as a symptom of being human, which I suppose is also me judging the hell out of things. So if you can judge this video and this channel as worth subscribing, then maybe we can be humans together and judge the fuck out of each other in the process.